1. Welcome to Made for More Living.
One small step for man.
With Johnny Jennings.
Kick the tires and light the fires, Big Daddy.
The fastest and most exciting hour of news, events, and real estate in Northern California.
And this is a fact that was proved.
Powered by EXP Realty. Online at madeformoreliving.com.
Does everybody know what time it is?
Get ready. Here we go.
So, Valerie, I never thought about it like this before, but we're kind of like the mafia. Our family business is kind of like the mafia, right?
We're going to need to elaborate.
We're going to need to elaborate. Yeah, I mean, like, we're sure we're real estate agents, but, you know, it's a family business.
True. Good point.
You got to be in the family, you know, to be a member. Anyways, that was Matt's joke. I stole Matt's joke. But anyways, on the show today, we have my lovely wife, co-founder of the Made for More Real Estate team, Miss Valary Jennings. Valerie, how are you doing?
Pretty good. Thanks for having me.
You have a glow about you. You want to share for those who can't see you in person what the glow is?
Yes, we are due with baby boy number 2 in a couple days, actually.
So. I love how you include me in that, like, weird do. Like, I have something to do in the next couple weeks.
Are you not going to be there?
Yeah.
Are you going to give her a thumbs up, texting her, how you doing? Is he here yet?
I am not the biggest fan. I am not the biggest fan of the whole birthing thing.
You're not? Why not? This is exciting. It's awesome. I was beside my wife for all 3 of our kids. In fact, they even invited me to be in the tub when she had the baby. There's where I drew the line. I was like, no, but it's exciting. You don't think it's great?
It is, but so this is only our second child, right? We haven't had a whole lot of, experience here, but seeing her go through that pain and all that stuff, it is just, I am not comfortable with it.
But that's why you got to be there to help her alongside.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a very...
I like the old classic way where the dude's sitting out smoking a cigar and then they're like, hey, come on in, meet your kid. I'm like, okay, that's good for me. That's good for me.
Do you think it's beneficial to have him beside you?
Yeah, that's a good question. Do you like me there?
Yeah, 100%. Otherwise, I'm, by myself.
I could see that being lonely.
One of the things that my wife really appreciated with me is that I counted down the contractions. So I told her, hey, babe, 15 more seconds, and it's going to end. She appreciated knowing that it was going to end.
That's helpful, yeah.
You would like that?
Well,
learn how long the contractions are, how long they should be, and then encourage her, hey, you got this one. That's what helped my wife. She said, I'm
also super squeamish. I didn't used to be this way, but
I'm taking your man card after the show.
I know, right?
So, we've talked before about how I gave blood, actually plasma, to help pay for Valary's diamond ring, right? I was like, okay, just hook it up. We're doing this twice a week, every week for a long, long time, and it wasn't a big deal. But now, you try to stick me with a needle, I'm like, I get woozy and I'm going to pass out. So I don't know what changed between now and then, but that's another thing because it's not exactly the most. I don't know. They're not right. They don't come out wrapped up in a clean blanket, ready to go. They come out plugged in. You know.
Wow, I don't think I've ever heard it put that way.
They're 100%
plugged in. Yeah,
there we go.
Absolutely.
They're plugged in, and I got it was called catching. Mm-hmm. So I was the catcher.
Oh, that's cool.
For Jack, for our first. And,
did you cut the umbilical cord?
I did.
See, that's cool.
That was crazy. I had no idea. I thought it would just be a little clip.
Did you go through health class in 5th grade?
No.
Okay, see, that's the problem.
Through it, probably.
You missed that class.
No, but when I was cutting the umbilical cord, this is a sharp, whatever it is. It was like scissors. But I had no idea. I was bearing down it was a piece of rope.
Yeah.
Have you ever cut rope before? I had no idea. No idea. But anyways, one of my favorite all-time photos of Valary is right after Jack was born. So imagine being a new mother, you've heard all your life, hey, I'm going to grow life, and then all of a sudden she gives birth to this new life, and then I grab him and I put him up on her chest immediately, and her face is just one of utter surprise. She's got this surprised look, and she stayed like that for almost a minute. Mm-hmm. And so they were able to capture a photo of her because she was just shocked that, oh my gosh, this moment that I've been thinking about for my whole life just came true, and I have this little life. And it was you're tearing up over there.
Oh my gosh, stop.
It was special. It was special. Matt, where did your wife
give birth? We
gave
birth at birth. My wife's children were all had water births. So they were all born in the water. And that way my wife didn't have to take any of the epidurals or anything, which she didn't want to do.
So she did it without any painkillers.
Without any painkillers.
Ooh.
And the water helped. And she had 2 at the Davis Birth Center, and then she had 1 at the California Birth Center in Rockland.
No kidding.
Well, actually, no, I take that back. The construction was not completely built yet, so they had to deliver a tub to our house. So she actually had Ruby, our daughter, in her bedroom.
Wow.
With our other 2 kids watching. And it was great. It was awesome because that night she got to sleep in her own bed and just hold the baby, and it was cool. And the next night I had an event, and it was just cool.
That's wild. So
I think that's the way it's supposed to be. Have you guys watched that show, The Midwives? That's one of my wife's favorite show. It's about...
We don't have TV, so...
Oh, that's right. You don't?
No.
Oh, good for you. Wow, you're better than all of us.
No, we're just out of touch with pop culture.
Well, anyways, it's this show about midwives and how babies used to be born that way for the most part. You didn't rush to a hospital to have your baby. Someone would come to your home, or maybe it was just the husband or someone or a neighbor, and they would help you deliver the baby. And it's just interesting, those stories that come about from that. And so this is kind of what... We're kind of going back to the way it used to be, you know. A lot of the doctors at the birth center say having a baby is something just natural. It's supposed to be something just natural that happens. It doesn't need to be this huge, procedure per se. It's just something that women were born to do, and it just happens naturally. And you need a little bit of assistance, especially if a problem happens, if there's issues, you want to be able to have a hospital nearby or a medical professional. I have a friend, and he said, are you going to deliver in a hospital? And the friend was like, my wife is pregnant. She's not sick. Like, I don't have to take her to a hospital, a sick factory. Right. Right. So that's interesting. California Birth Center, that's where we gave birth to Jack. Yeah. And so Valary, it's a super, Valary, why did you pick? Because we're talking about it and we're not the ones actually doing the work here. Why did you want to go that route?
I just ultimately never wanted to be in a hospital setting. Like you said, it's not like a big medical event, right? It's just something women naturally do, is have a baby, right? So I wanted I don't have a lot of experiences with hospitals, and just has always kind of felt like an uncomfortable place to me. So I was looking for an alternative, and happens to be right down the road from where we live. So, it's super convenient, and everybody there is amazing. It just feels like a really comfortable space to embark on becoming a mother. Yeah, it's less like a number. Yeah, is how I would describe it. It's more like family. Yeah. Yeah, they're really cool. Mm-hmm. So this is number 2. Yeah. Is there anything that makes you nervous about growing your family to where it's 2 kids now instead of just 1? Time. Now you're equally matched. Time. Mm-hmm. Time. Yeah. So because again, we're in the family business, right? We got our little real estate mafia thing going on, and it's just like, Valary, like, what were you doing last night? Like, when would you say you went to bed last night? Most nights, like as moms know, we do bedtime and bath time and everything with the kids. And then after that, it's usually like work session number 2, and kind of wraps up around 9 or 10 o'clock if I'm lucky. So yeah. So that's kind of the cadence there. And so it's a bit of a challenge. I mean, people who are in the industry, like other real estate agents, other real estate professionals, they'll know around 7:45, 8 o'clock. Oh, little one's down, right? People who have families, they know that's the second work session. So phase 2. So that's the challenge there. So then, what would your recommendation be for other realtors out there, other people in the business, of how to juggle being a real estate agent, or most real estate agents do own their own business. They're entrepreneurs per se, right? Yeah. They set their own time schedules. What's your recommendation for those, how to juggle social life, family life, and their job, which can be a 24/7 situation? So it really depends on the person's, like, where they are in the life cycle of their business. If they're brand new, there's not going to be a whole lot of balance there. And Valary can chime in, but we don't really believe in balance. It's like balance. It's like it's a rhythm, right? And so when you're newer, the rhythm is faster. It's faster paced. And then as your business grows, the rhythm can kind of become a more steady cadence rather than that fast, like doing open houses all the time, showing property all the time. So when you first start out, it's going to be high paced. It's going to be your life until you get to a level of success where you figured out some kind of rhythm and you're not as anxious or,
you don't feel that pressure to really be active all the time.
Yeah, but there's also like, go ahead, gorgeous.
I was just going to say also being willing to accept help too. I think a lot of real estate agents like to wear all the hats in their businesses, and they want to do every single job as an entrepreneur. But if you're able to delegate, and, even with childcare too, sometimes like you just have to give and take a little bit. So sometimes having someone watch your kid while you go on a listing appointment, it's just, it's something you have to work into your schedule, is asking help from other people.
Yep. And that's true. I think that's true for just about anybody with a kid. But now that we're going to have with the second baby on the way, there'll be more help needed.
Yeah.
And then I heard, so right now we're man-to-man defense. If we have another kid, we're going to have to go to zone. And so that'll be a whole new journey for us. But so what Valor has planned out is we're giving birth you're giving birth to the baby, sweetheart. And then we
I'll do that part.
And Valerie's going to do that. And then, family will come around. And then we also have these great, have you ever heard of doulas before?
Yeah.
I had no idea. This was a totally new concept to me. But what they're going to do is we're going to have people there to help out during the day. So the grandmas will be there during the day with baby Ben. That's going to be baby number 2. We're going to have Jack and Ben. And then in the evenings, the doulas will come in. When do they come in, sweetheart?
Well, they work the night shift, and I think what a lot of people think of traditionally as a doula helps you just during birth.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I thought. So
Yeah.
you're teaching me something new.
Yeah, so it's called, most doulas offer this, but they call it postpartum doula services.
Right, sure.
So they'll come and they'll even do daytime, whatever schedule you want. You just have to hire them ahead of time, obviously. So this time around, we're going to have them come in the evening and just help out with night support, because those of you that have had a newborn before, they're up all night as well. So that's the plan.
Yeah. So Valerie is, you're going to do breastfeeding, right?
Yep.
And so for a lot of moms, that's I just sleep through the night, whatever, man. I'm out. But with the doulas, what they're able to do is they're able to bring the baby in. Hey, baby's hungry. Valerie feeds him. Then they change him, wrap him up, make sure he's not
that's
in
cool.
an unsafe situation. And they'll actually sit in the room with the child and just make sure that he's safe, so that Valerie can get some good sleep and not worry about what's happening with the baby. And then they'll make breakfast in the next morning and then clean up and be out of there. So
nice
doula services. But I think you're 100% right. Asking for help is what agents need help with. Because so many agents suffer in silence. They don't know the answers to the contracts. They don't know the answers to, hey, how do I get a buyer to realize that this is the best move for them? How can I communicate? How can I communicate with the seller? Vendors, hey, I don't have a good person to help with staging or photos or repairs. Yep, you're 100% right. It comes down to support.
Yep.
So if there's agents listening right now, maybe they've been in the business for years and decades, or maybe if they're brand new and they're trying to figure out this balance, they still haven't reached that point where they feel like they're successful, and that it's harder than it is for other companies like yourself. You guys would love to take them on, right? To help steward them a little bit and show them some different strategies that you've been successful with over the years.
Absolutely, yeah. So we consider ourselves a launching platform for agents. So whether you're new or you've been doing this for a while and want to take your career to the next level, we can help you launch your career to that next phase. Just reach out to us. We don't take everybody, but we are always open to a conversation. And so if we're a good fit for you and you're a good fit for us, we'd love to help.
Cool.
All right, and we'll be right back.
Well, hey, if you're listening to today's show and you're thinking about putting your home on the market, there's nobody better than Johnny Jennings and his team at Made for More Living. They're going to get you the most money possible in the fastest amount of time. The process is smooth and easy. And hey, if you feel like your home is just not ready yet, there's home improvement projects to be done, but you don't have the time or the money, Johnny Jennings and the Made for More Living team can help out. Again, just reach out at madeformoreliving.com. madeformoreliving.com.
This is Made for More Living with Johnny Jennings, powered by eXp Realty. Online at madeformoreliving.com.
So the market is heating up. The weather is getting better. Valerie, what are you seeing in terms of people getting ready? Are the buyers coming out? Are the sellers putting their homes on the market? Is this a good time to actually take that next step and making a move? What is it you're seeing currently in the marketplace?
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely a good time. Both buyers and sellers are starting to become more active. Just for example, last weekend we had a home come on the market, got multiple offers. I think there was about 4. got into contract right away after one weekend.
Was it over list or what? Like, how were the offers?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think, 20, 30,000 over, it was a good,
What?
Yeah. Good stretch there. So great news for the sellers. And then this weekend, again, we put another great home on the market. Actually got about 17 offers on that one, significantly over list price again as well. So again, it's a great time to be a seller, but also as a buyer as well, because that means inventory is starting to come back out again. We didn't see a lot hitting the market the last few months, but now we actually have homes coming up to choose from. So for buyers, I'd encourage people to get back out there and start looking again too. Yeah,
I would too. It just the thing that I hear with buyers all the time is, hey, I'm waiting for interest rates to drop,
Yeah. Well, I think this has become our new normal now. Interest rates may drop a little bit later this year, but everybody else has become accustomed to this is what our rates are going to be. And they've gone out there. They understand that they can do rate buy downs. They understand that they can do things like refinancing later when the rates do go back down again. So
circle back though real quick for those people who don't know, what's a rate buy down?
That just means that you take extra funds and put it towards buying down the rate at the beginning. So if, I don't know what rates are specifically, but just as an example, if it was 7 today, they could buy the rate down to 6 or even 5, just depending on how much they wanted to put towards that rate buy down.
To lower their interest rate.
Yeah, which decreases the monthly payment significantly.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And so, but here's what people are, this is my concern. Like I'm so worried about buyers because affordability is a thing right now. Like prices have not come down. It doesn't look like prices are going to come down because inventory is so tight. And so with this restriction on inventory, prices have remained high and actually increased in most markets year over year. And so anyways, I just have a heart for the buyers because they're struggling right now. And if you're selling and wanting to buy locally, you're like getting rid of that 2% interest rate and trading up for a 7,
Yeah.
But so many buyers are saying, hey, I'm going to wait for the market to drop or I'm going to wait for interest rates to come down. And that just kills me because just the last 2 weekends we're seeing the market heat up and people are coming in $20,000, $30,000, $60,000 over list right now in order to get their their offer accepted on a home. So the longer you wait, the more the market's heating up, the more you're going to have to come in over list. Like even if interest rates do drop, your monthly is still going to be higher because prices are continuing to go up. And you're still having to come in with a strong offer. So it really doesn't make financial sense in today's market to wait. Right. Would you agree?
Well, for sure. Yeah. And I mean, even if you think back to the people that they didn't want the competition of the 2021 market, right? Yeah. They're like, buying a home is my goal in the next few years, but I don't want to compete with all these people. Well, the competition's still there 3 years later. Like nothing has changed. We still have competition going on in the market. So really, like if you're planning to wait, how much longer are you going to wait?
That's a good point. Yeah. How much longer are you going to wait? Like when's the market going to be right? And only you can really answer that. But if you're waiting on something external to happen, like, hey, if this person gets elected or if this person doesn't get elected or if interest rates hit this price point, then I'll make a move. But it's just so tough because the people who waited wish they would have gotten in. Yeah. Right. What's that old proverb? The best time to plant a tree was 30 years ago. Yeah. The second best time to plant a tree is today.
Now.
Yeah, because I've heard some people say that if the interest rates do lower, then that's just going to cause the home prices to go up. Is that
Absolutely.
True? What's your perspective on that?
Oh my gosh, 100%. Because all you've done is now the people who had the buying power are now able to take that monthly and now apply it to a higher purchase price. And so, if interest rates do go down, prices will go up. Prices are going up regardless of if interest rates come down. So just imagine what would happen. You'd just be pouring gasoline on a fire at that point. So we're not in the market to buy a home right now, but if we were, we might have to be putting, baby Ben up for some adoption or something, like trading him in. Hey, here, have my second born, not the firstborn. I'm not emotionally attached to the second born. Have the second born so we can get in on this home.
But it's true. But you guys have strategies to help buyers, so they're not feeling hopeless or frustrated, right?
Yeah. I mean, because there's plenty of things that you can do. Let your agent.
Besides giving up your kid?
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yeah, definitely not. Please don't give up your kids.
Okay. So what are some strategies? What are some strategies you like to use, sweetheart?
Well, for example, just figuring out what's important to the seller, because a lot of sellers are, if they're selling that home, they're buying something else, or they're moving across the country, or whatever they're doing, right? So sometimes time is incredibly important to sellers. So if you're able to maybe offer a little bit less on the price, but give them the amount of time that they're looking for to get moved out, That's one strategy. Anything along the lines of shortening contingency timeframes so that the sellers aren't left in limbo for 2 or 3 weeks of, are they going to buy my house or are they not? They can't make plans until you complete all your contingencies. So, and working with a great lender as well. I think that's incredibly important.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, because you can get pre-approved by anybody. Just pop online and do that. But is that pre-approval really going to stand solid in a contract situation when everybody's relying on you to, get that loan done? So,
yep. So a great local lender goes a long way.
100%.
We had the 17 offers, and I'm going through the pre-approvals, and I'm like, I don't know who this is.
Who's that? Yeah.
Is this legit? This is a weird. This looks like they just made it on their Google Word doc. Is this even a pre-approval? I don't even know who this person is. Like this lending company, and then you get to the pre-approvals. You're like, oh, that person is legit qualified to buy this home.
They'll get the deal done.
They'll get the deal done. And so who you work with matters not only in lending but also with the real estate agents. So I cannot tell you how many times we've gotten calls and been like, hey, I know you personally, I can get the deal done. Here's my buyers. And we trust these people because we've worked with them before. And so we know they are professionals. We know they're people of their word. And we know that they're going to do what's right for their client. And that's going to in turn be what's right for ours. And so a lot of it's relational based. And so if you're working with somebody who's newer, doesn't have a lot of experience, or isn't even from the area, you may have to pay a premium. You can still work with that person, but it may cost you more to get the deal done.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's some tips there on how to get your offer accepted. Valerie, any other final closing words on what's happening in the market?
I guess I would just say, with the sellers, now's the time. I mean, really, if you're planning to sell your home this year, jump on it now, because the longer you wait into summer, the other people have already put their homes on the markets and they've already sold, and the summer season here in the greater Sacramento region starts early.
Absolutely. That's a great point, sweetheart, because the market, a lot of people think, I'll start in May or June. And if it takes 30 days for you to get an offer on your home, which maybe you'll get it on the first weekend, but let's just say 30 days, then you're in June, July, and by July, the market has peaked.
Yeah.
That is when prices peak, is in July.
Yep.
And so there still may be some benefits to selling in August or in December. There's marketing strategies that we have at the Made for More team that can capitalize on those different phases in the market cycle. But just painting with broad brushstrokes, July, the market peaks. And so you want to make sure that you have your home in contract before July.
Yep.
What if there are home buyers or home sellers listening? They want to put their home on the market, but they've got those home improvement projects that they want to get done. They feel like their home's not going to be ready until they get that project done. Speak to that. Are there certain ones that they have to get done before they put their home on the market, or what are their options?
Yeah, go ahead, sweetheart.
Yeah, I mean, I think every home is a little bit different, right? But the basics of just make sure that it's clean and decluttered. Those are the main things, right? You don't need to go into huge, deck remodeling or, things like we can cross that bridge when we get there, right? But as long as it's clean and presentable and people walk in and they can imagine themselves in your space, that's kind of the base of what needs to be done.
That's the base. Yeah. And so What frustrates me is sometimes people do maintenance and they think that's going to increase the value of their home.
Yeah.
So no, you painted the home. People expected the home to be painted. No, you repaired the deck. People expected the deck to not be falling off the house. That's maintenance. That's not an improvement.
You didn't increase the value of your house.
You didn't increase the value. It's like, hey, I changed the oil on my car. Okay, that did not increase the value of your car.
Great example.
I expected the oil to be changed already and for basic maintenance to be done.
Right.
You won't have to necessarily deal with those issues in escrow, but that doesn't take your home from being worth X to X plus $20,000. Okay, and so
are you saying they should take care of those issues now before thinking about putting their home on the market?
So what I would say is get a home inspection. Get a home pest and roof inspection. Cost you somewhere between $600 to $800, depending on the size of your home for those three, and get those three done. And then you'll have this financial picture that's it's like a physical for your house. Maybe you haven't gone in and seen the doctor in a while, and you're like, oh, I didn't know that I needed to be doing this. This is the physical for your home, so you can go, okay, these are the issues that need to get fixed. And then at least if you have the money, you can pay for them and get them fixed up front. If you don't, we have a fix before you list program, so that way it's resolved before you even go on the market and no upfront cost to you. Or at least then you can present it to the buyers. If you do nothing, you can at least present it to the buyer and say, hey, here's this current status of the house. Here's the condition of the home. Make your offers based on this information. So that way you don't get 2-3 weeks into it and then all of a sudden there's a surprise. Yep.
Yeah. Great idea.
Awesome.
So they want to learn more about that fix to list. Is that what you call it?
Fix before you list.
Fix before you list. How can they find more information on that?
Yeah, just Google Made for More or go to madeformoreliving.com and just reach out to us there. We're the most Google reviewed team, so you can just Google us as well, and you'll see we have over 500 Google reviews right now. So just check in with us. We're happy to help.
And don't worry, it's not Johnny Jennings showing up with his tool belt, his hammer, and his wrench, trying to do it himself. Right?
Nope.
No offense.
No offense. You don't want me doing that. Valerie's giggling just at the thought of that. No, those days are behind me. So we have special professionals that come out and help with all that. All right. Thank you so much.
Well, hey, if you're listening to today's show and you're thinking about putting your home on the market, there's nobody better than Johnny Jennings and his team at Made for More Living. They're going to get you the most money possible in the fastest amount of time. The process is smooth and easy. And hey, if you feel like your home is just not ready yet, there's home improvement projects to be done, but you don't have the time or the money, Johnny Jennings and the Made for More Living team can help out. Again, just reach out at madeformoreliving.com. madeformoreliving.com.
This is Made for More Living with Johnny Jennings, powered by eXp Realty. Online at madeformoreliving.com.
This is so frustrating, like incredibly frustrating. Probably one of like the most annoying things that real estate agents are not allowed to do. I get the idea behind it, Valerie. I understand the process and you know the reason why it's like this, but I think it's one of those good ideas done in like somebody thought it up and go, hey, that's a good idea. But when you actually put it into practice, it's like people don't like it.
In
people
theory,
don't like
it makes sense.
Yeah, they don't like. My name is Johnny Jennings. I'm here with Valary Jennings, my lovely wife, better half, the brains behind the operation, and we are discussing steering in real estate. So if you've ever bought or sold a property and you've gone to your real estate agent and said, hey, where's a good neighborhood? Hey, what are the schools like here? Hey, what's the crime rate here? Hey, would you live here? You know, like if you're asking any questions about a neighborhood, legally, what are agents supposed to do, Valerie?
Say, I can't answer that question for you. You're going to have to do your own research.
Yeah, and maybe even point you to some websites. Let's say, here are some resources where you can do your own research. But it's so frustrating because to me, that's like a core part of the real estate agent's job.
Right.
Is providing guidance. Right.
What's the point of being a local expert that's familiar with all the neighborhoods and everything if you're not allowed to share that information?
And I totally get like you don't want to be like, you know, redlining and stuff like that. But
do you know the history of that, of why that protocol was established?
Yeah.
Like there's got to be some kind of reasoning of why they don't want you to do that.
Yeah, because minorities were being pushed into or recommended to certain neighborhoods. Other ethnic groups were said would move out if other minorities were moving in. Say, hey, you don't want to go there. That neighborhood's going down. There was a lot of racial prejudice that was driving that, and I just don't. But I guess that's what frustrates me. Is at least in my experience, I haven't experienced. Hey, I don't want to live where those people are. Hey, don't put me in a house next to somebody like that. You know, I don't hear that. I hear like crime rate, schools,
right.
And we're not allowed to talk about that. Yeah. And that's the part that I think is really frustrating.
Yeah, completely valid questions like crime rates in schools. Yeah, like those are things people want to know when they're moving into a neighborhood.
Yeah.
I don't think they ask what's the racial demographic of Roseville. You know,
no,
I've never been asked that question.
It's an economic question. That's what it's around. You know, it's a. You know, so I don't know.
It's a safety thing.
Is there hope that will be relooked at and changed in the future, or no?
No, not to my knowledge. Not to my knowledge. There's a lot of crazy things happening in real estate as far as just like not only the consumer but also on the agent side. So, for example, the PRO Act, right? And have you, for those of you who don't know what the PRO Act is, like this is something that it doesn't only impact real estate agents. It doesn't only impact truck drivers. It impacts potentially every single independent contractor and is going to remove that independent contractor status. So if they're working for somebody, they're doing like if I'm working so Valary and I were brokered by eXp, right? And if we want to continue to be brokered by eXp would have to make us an employee. And that is just going to have huge consequences in the market, not only for us as agents, but also for the consumer.
Right. Yeah.
If that passes, in my opinion, you're going to see a lot of independent shops pop up, right? There's going to be less oversight for agents, and I think honestly the fee is going to go up because now you have this revolving overhead that the corporations have to pay.
Yeah, there's no way to get away from it. Yeah.
It's just going to be absolute. It's going to be horrible. So I get the idea behind it. I think it's like the steering rule. Like it had good, intentions, but if it goes into effect, man, it is just going to totally wreck people's chances of buying and selling a home. It's gonna be rough for a couple of years. But enough of the negative talk.
Yeah.
We don't need to be negative Nancy over here. But or sorry, Nancy, if you're out there. But let's do some positive talk. So we have some great agents on our team as independent contractors who are doing really, really well. Valerie, what is it like? What does it look like to be on our team? If you were an outsider looking in, how would you describe it?
I think the level of support is one of those things that people just don't really understand.
Yeah.
Like they assume they're getting into real estate, they're going to be an independent contractor. That means I'm running my own business, right? But the fact that you would have Johnny and I there to hold your hand on any of these processes that you're going through, like all the way from the beginning of simple questions like, does my client need to be pre-approved before I take them out shopping? How do I get them pre-approved? How do I write a contract? All those things, like we're holding your hand the entire way. And I think that is something that you don't necessarily get on other teams, or that people don't realize that they're missing out on when they try to do this business alone without a team.
Yep. It's the culture. It's 100%. There's accountability and there's just support.
Yeah.
So agents don't have to suffer in silence. And it's not just for new agents, right?
Yeah, exactly.
There are people on the team who are brand new and they're like, hey, I want to learn the right way. I want to represent my clients, in the right way. How do I do that? And then there's experienced agents on our team who are like, hey, I'm tired of doing this alone.
Right.
I'm tired of being an island. I'm tired of dealing with the marketing. I'm tired of dealing with all the paperwork. I'm tired of dealing with like finding people to host my houses open or finding houses to hold open. Like it's just, it's exhausting if you're a one person show.
Yeah. Or even like a lot of agents, when they first get in the business, they work mostly with buyers, right? That's just kind of like an easier way to get in. Well, then sometimes agents want to flip it to becoming a listing agent, and that's another great place where we can add value as well.
Yeah.
Johnny and I sell a lot of homes representing sellers. And so we have the opportunity to shadow on listing appointments, and help you go on your own listing appointments as well.
Yep.
To help break into that market of representing sellers.
Well, that's a good point, sweetheart. I never thought about that. Yeah. So recently I said, hey, I'm never going on another listing appointment by myself. I do not want to go on a listing appointment by myself, because if I'm going, like, I know what I'm doing,
Right.
but it doesn't help anybody else on our team.
Right.
And so from now on, and it's safer, I think, going with more than one person.
True.
And so now moving forward, there's always going to be at least one agent with me who's going on a listing appointment. So I went to a listing appointment in Grass Valley. I went to a listing appointment with somebody else in Yuba City. I have another one coming up in Galt. And so like there's always going to be somebody with me. So that gives them the opportunity to learn, not just watch a video or sit in a classroom and learn about it, but to go on the appointment, see how it's conducted, see how we handle the questions that sellers have and stuff. And so, I think that's a lot of fun, because the typical agent, especially brand new, maybe goes on one listing appointment, maybe 4 in a given year, you know, and we go on them like almost daily. And so just imagine how the value that a new agent would have. Oh man, I wish I had that.
Yeah. I wish I could see how a listing appointment is conducted. Well, you can. Yeah. From start to finish.
So we partnered with Tom Daves a while back, like legend in the industry. I just always looked up to him. I was like, oh man, I just wish I could learn his listing presentation. And then I remember the first time I went on a listing appointment with him, I was like, wow, this guy, starstruck. Hey, can you sign my hat, Tom? Can you sign my hat? Like, he is just such a good listing. He's such a good agent. He's probably one of the top agents in the country in terms of number of appointments gone on. Yeah. Like he's been licensed in 1977. Anyways, I'll get off the little fanboy moment, but if I had that opportunity, like we're 8 years in, almost 9 years into our career. If I had that year one, oh my gosh, I would be so much further ahead than I am right now if I had the opportunity to shadow it like a Tom Daves. Not that I am a Tom Daves. If I just had the opportunity to shadow people on listing appointments, that's a closely held secret.
It is, yeah.
People do, that is like, that's like intellectual property.
Because I think there's a lot of agents maybe that are listening that think, well, maybe more experienced agents or teams like you guys, they're too busy to sit there and show me the ropes or teach me new strategies, or maybe they think I'm trying to interfere or interrupt their business and try to latch on to their success. But you guys don't feel that way at all, right?
Nope. Here's the thing: is who do you want to learn from? Do you want to learn from the heart surgeon that does a heart surgery every 6 months, or do you want to learn from the heart surgeon who's banging them out like multiple heart surgeries a week, like once a day, 3 surgeries a day? Like who do you want to learn from? Conversely, if you're the client, who do you want to go to? Do you want to go to the very seasoned professional, or the person who's just, I'm just doing a part-time and I have plenty of time for you because you're my only client? You know, like, no, I prefer the professional. And so what I will say is when an agent joins our team, the ones that succeed are the ones who are hungry and show up. Yeah. If you expect passively for Valary and I to hold your hand and walk you through everything and call you 3 times a day and check in on you, those are the agents who don't do so well. But the agents who show up and are like, hey, I want to learn this. Hey, I'm available to go see this listing appointment on a Sunday night in Yuba. Please bring me along, right? But if somebody's like, no, it's Sunday's family time, and then I'm going to take Monday off to be with my husband, and it's like, okay, those people will struggle because they're not willing to put in the short-term work to see the long-term results. But if you are humble, hungry, ready to learn, and coachable, then oh my gosh, it is just like oil and gas. Like, let's go, oil and fire. Gas and fire. Anyway, some type of great analogy.
Oh, Johnny.
But
that's cool.
Yeah. So if you're an agent and you're considering leveling up your business, just please have a conversation with us. We'd love to explain to you how we help agents go from selling a couple houses a year to doing $5, $6, $8 million a year in production. So we'd love to have a conversation with you. We're looking to partner with great people.
And they can do that by going to
madeformoreliving.com. Just reach out to us.
madeformoreliving.com. There's a way to reach out to you guys.
Absolutely. Sweet. Yeah, just say I'm an agent. How do I connect with Johnny?
Well, hey, if you're listening to today's show and you're thinking about putting your home on the market, there's nobody better than Johnny Jennings and his team at Made for More Living. They're going to get you the most money possible in the fastest amount of time. The process is smooth and easy. And hey, if you feel like your home is just not ready yet, there's home improvement projects to be done, but you don't have the time or the money, Johnny Jennings and the Made for More Living team can help out. Again, just reach out at madeformoreliving.com. madeformoreliving.com.
This is Made for More Living with Johnny Jennings, powered by eXp Realty. Online at madeformoreliving.com.
Valary, what was it that you, like when you were a little girl, did you want to be a realtor? Did you grow up wanting to do that?
Was not even on my radar.
Well, she wanted to be a princess.
A princess.
And she made it. She's a princess.
Queen Valary, what is it you wanted to do?
I wanted to be a photographer first.
Like what type of photographer? Homes?
No. Nature, like National Geographic type stuff.
That's right.
Yeah.
I remember that when I first met you.
She wanted to travel to Africa and photograph the Aborigines, I guess that's Australia.
The cheetahs and great mountains and all that kind of stuff.
I remember that. Oh gosh, going back in the files, because when I first met Valary, she was living at home, freshman in college, and she had all these National Geographic magazines. And you had the goal of lining having a shelf along the top of your bedroom and having them all filled with National Geographic, right?
Correct, yeah.
Wow.
I was a fan. Yeah.
Do you guys still have National Geographic in the house, or they're all gone?
No, this is okay. This is a great story. This is one of my favorite Valary stories, and it has nothing to do with Valary. It's all about me. So I'll tell you this real quick. So that's right, because you wanted to be a photographer for National Geographic, and so at the time I had been tentatively accepted into the Naval Academy.
Yeah.
And so they'd sent me a letter and said, hey, you're in, just come on over, tour the campus. We have the special day where people who are going to come in get to sleep in the dorms and stay with the midshipmen and do all that stuff. And you can bring a family member if you'd like to. So I paid for my dad and I to fly out to Annapolis. And while we were out there, my pops was like, hey, how about we swing by, is it the National Geographic headquarters or something like that?
Yeah, the museum. Yeah.
Let's swing by the museum in D.C. And let's get Valary something, because I just started dating Valary. And so we go over there. They had the terracotta soldiers there. They were doing this huge thing, and so we couldn't go in. But I grabbed a coffee mug.
From the gift shop. Yeah.
In the gift shop. It said National Geographic for Valary. And so, but then when we looked at our watch, I'm like, oh my gosh, we have to be like all the way back in like Maryland really fast to catch our flight. And so we're like we're running through, the cherry blossoms are like blooming. It was a beautiful picturesque, but we're like running and sweating just sweating and trying to make it there on time. And then all of a sudden we come up to this brick wall. My dad goes off route. We didn't have smartphones at the time. And come to this like 9 foot, 10 foot brick wall. And he's like, let's just hop over. And I'm like, okay. And so he takes his backpack. He takes his backpack off and just chucks it over this brick wall. We don't know what's on the other side of this brick wall. He just chucks it over. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to chuck mine. I have Valary's cup in there. And so I keep the backpack on. I pull up over the side of the brick wall. And I look over. Do you know what was on the other side of the wall, Matt? A freeway.
Oh, man.
It was a freeway. But it was like stops traffic. And so that's why we couldn't hear like the buzz of traffic. And so it was a legit freeway. And his backpack's just laying out there in the middle of the freeway. I'm like, Pops, what have we done? And so imagine sitting in your car, like just, regular Saturday, stuck in traffic or whatever day it was. And all of a sudden a backpack just comes soaring in over the top of this wall. And so he grabs his backpack, we weave in and out, and we still have the cup to this day. But anyways, yeah.
And you made your flight on time.
And I made my flight on time.
There you go. And if you want Johnny Jennings to be your real estate agent, reach out to Made for More Living.
I'll get you National Geographic cup. I go the extra mile.
He will do whatever it takes. That's right.
Whatever it takes.
Even
Hopping
running
over
across the
brick
freeway.
walls, risking his life on the freeway.
Yeah. But now that we've been doing this for a while, I mean, most people in my experience have transitioned out of another industry into real estate, unless they grew up in it or unless they decided out the gate, right out of high school, this is what I want to do. They typically transition into the industry. So you're not alone in that, sweetheart. I mean, I used to want to be a PE teacher, right?
Yep.
I used to think it'd be cool to get paid to watch kids peg each other with balls all day, but here we are. But life takes some unexpected turns, right? And so,
so how did you make that transition or turn? What was it?
Well, yeah, it took time. I think being in it together and, in the transition, it doesn't happen overnight, because you go from getting a paycheck every 2 weeks or however often you get paid to now you're self-employed, right? So it does take some adjustment and some forethought.
Yeah, I read this little purple book. It's really, really famous. It's titled Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Have you heard about this book? Well, don't read it or else it'll make you want to become a realtor. But I read this book and it totally was a paradigm shift. Like my life was going down one track and then boom, it just clicked over to a different track. And because both my parents were teachers. And so I always thought you just worked for somebody. You got a stable job, the job event, you worked there long enough, you got retirement, and there's your life cycle. And Valary's parents also worked as employees for corporations. And so that just was how we were raised. And so I read this and I was like, wait, there's another option? Why did I not learn this in school? And so Valary and I transitioned out of the industries we were in. Valary was, you had this illustrious job, right? What were you doing?
Substitute teaching.
You were substitute teaching and also, substitute teaching and working. Talk about a tough job. Oh my gosh.
Man.
That's like being a teacher is really hard in today's market, today's industry, today's time. But substitute teaching is just even that much harder. But anyways, Valary was substitute teaching and I was working in oil and gas. And so transitioned out into real estate. And that's actually how Valary got involved, right? Like we realized, hey, I'm too busy during the day to do both the paperwork and the clients and the lead generation and all that stuff. Like I need some help. Right. And so then we ended up partnering up and never looked back. Yeah. And now we've been in the industry almost 9 years, have one kid on the way, and life's interesting.
Yeah, and I'm sure, being a substitute teacher, working in the gas and oil fields, that can be very adventurous. But working in real estate can be very adventurous as well, right? What are some of the stories that you've encountered by just being out in this in the field per se that you've encountered or experienced? Yeah,
there's there's some scary situations. Like homeless people. I've been in homes where it's like people are like legit doing drugs out in the middle of nowhere, and I was for a while there. I used to actually carry when I would go on appointments. I haven't done that for a while, but
have you ever had something accidental or?
Yeah, Valary has a funny story though.
A little bit more funny. Yeah, I laugh at my ridiculousness, but I'm up showing property in Colfax, and so the cell service is like not that great. But anyway, so I do what I always do, and I opened the door, and the seller was gone, so I was there by myself. This was in the days of doing virtual tours, so I was just doing like a Zoom FaceTime. So I was there alone, and I go out onto the back deck, and luckily I had my phone with me, but the back deck actually, unbeknownst to me, had an auto-locking door. And this balcony it's on the second floor. I say back deck, but I meant like balcony, right? So I'm on the second floor, and the door closes behind me, and it auto locks.
Oh no.
Yeah. And so I hang up with my clients on the Zoom. I'm like, I got to talk to you later, guys. and then I have like one bar. I'm like barely able to get calls and texts out. And I'm like, who do I call right now? Like, I'm stuck up here in Colfax by myself on this balcony. I can't jump off.
How far down is the ground?
Well, it was second story, I was like, I really did. I was thinking like, well, yeah.
So your
I didn't want
options
to
are
break
either
her
the
gutters,
jump, which you can break a leg,
and
you could break the window, right? Is that going through your mind? What are my options here?
Yeah. So I called the listing agent. I was like, hey, tell the seller to come back and let me, unlock the door for me.
There's some things you're leaving out, though. One of them, your phone was almost dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're going to be trapped out there by yourself until the seller decided to come home.
Yeah.
And the seller coming home wasn't exactly like your first option.
No.
Because the seller had some
How come
jewelry.
you wouldn't call your husband first? That would be...
Oh, I did. But he was in a meeting and didn't answer the phone.
I'm like, wow, Valerie's really being persistent right now. Come on, guys, let's play the next hand. We were playing some game. But anyways, the seller actually had some ankle jewelry.
Yes.
They had a little ankle bracelet on them.
She was on house arrest, and didn't necessarily want her to come back, but she did end up coming back and helping me out. So yeah.
But yeah, it's an exciting time being a real estate agent. There's always something going on.
Yep, always something.
Well, at least it wasn't a giant Doberman dog, right? Because I know you have an issue with that.
So I grew up wanting dogs. Like, I wanted dogs so much. We had 6 cats at one point. I'm like, you gotta be rubbing salt in the wound. Yeah, my parents
Wait a second. You had 6 cats growing up at the same time?
Yeah, at the same time. It was like, wow. We can't have one dog, but we can have 6 cats.
Caveat here is Johnny grew up on 20 acres. So it wasn't like,
No, the 6 cats were in town.
Oh, gosh. Okay, never mind.
And then when we moved out
to
the 20 acres, then we had dogs. But I love dogs. I think dogs are great. Sometimes, though, it's just frustrating when we go on an appointment and the dog's jumping on us, and I'm like, oh, it's totally cool. It's like, I don't mind sniffing, I don't mind any of that. But when the dog starts like nipping at you and like pinching, he's just playing. It's like, okay, can we play with like his chew toy and not with my leg?
Right. And it's hard because you're trying to put your best foot forward. You're trying to get a signature from this person, right? And so you don't want to badmouth their dog or say your dog is horrible. Can you put him outside?
Yeah.
So you're trying to just deal with the pain, right? I love your dog. It's just so well behaved.
So friendly. I must just taste good or something like. Yeah. Ha ha ha. Yeah, no, and I love dogs, but it's just, man, that's that.
I think your wife's putting sausages in your pockets before you go out to a listing agent.
I will say this though, I like it when Valerie's pregnant because this is the second time she's been pregnant, and as a real estate agent, and I love it because our business just goes through the roof. I don't know what it is, but our best years in real estate have been when Valerie's pregnant. Valerie, so you just need to be pregnant all the time.
Oh, gosh.
What is your thoughts on that? Do you think that's true or not true? Do you think there's a benefit in being pregnant as a real estate agent? Or being
it's a great marketing technique.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a topic of conversation, so a way to connect with people, for sure. But, there's always 2 sides to every coin, so it just depends on the person.
She's not telling you what she really thinks.
Yeah, no,
I think people do have compassion and care for women that are pregnant, so there's a little bit of extra empathy or just, compassion, right? Mm-hmm. But it could be, like you said, the other side could be that, they think, well, if you're going to be pregnant, you're going to be too busy to be able to work hard for me. So there's that side as well, right?
Yeah. I mean, people do think that, but I will say there's an extra level of hustle when something like a new baby is coming along. It's like, okay, I got to get all my stuff done now. There's an extra level.
That's exactly why I think we've done so good both those years. Is there's been extra pressure and there's a deadline.
Yeah.
And so I think that in all reality, that's why. So maybe we just need to keep that hustle going. But the sad thing is some people will have fired Valerie when she's been pregnant. Like the worst story was we were coming back from the California Birth Center. We'd just given birth to our first child ever. Baby Jack was chilling in the back of the car. We're driving home, and Valary's phone rings. And mind you, like this is like the morning of, right? And the phone rings, and it's was it the lender? I think it was the lender.
It was the lender.
The lender calls and is like, "Hey, Valary, congratulations! Our buyer, the offer was accepted, and we're in escrow." And Valary's like, "They stopped working with me 2 days ago because they thought I was going to be pregnant in 2." And so here's Valary on the way home from the birth center, answering the phone as a real estate professional, finding out that her clients went with somebody else and are now in contract on a home.
Yeah.
Salt in the wound.
Salt in the wound.
Yeah.
So anyways.
That's one of the tough parts of being in this industry, is people can have a certain opinion of you and you can be fired just based on that, not based on your job performance, just whether or not they like you or not.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's why we always tell our agents to have people, and we tell clients as well. I've actually started doing it on listing appointments, and I say, hey, here, look at our reviews, because we have a listing booklet that we give people, and it has a bunch of information in it, and then there are a lot of great reviews. But there's only maybe 16, 20 reviews in there. We have over 500 reviews on Google, and so it's like, here's how you find us on Google. Right, we're the #1 Google ranked team in the area. Just go ahead and read some of these reviews and see for yourself how great we are.
Yeah, so if you're thinking about selling a home, if you're thinking about buying a home, or if you're a new or experienced agent looking to be on a more successful team, you'd love to talk with them, right?
Yeah, just go to madeformoreliving.com, madeformoreliving.com. You can just Google Made for More Living. We'll pop right up. You'll see we have over 500 reviews. And if you're thinking about buying or selling a house, don't worry. Valary's not going to be pregnant much longer. So if that was holding you back, go ahead and make the call. We'd love to work with you.
And you guys also have a program where you sometimes will offer them a cash offer, right?
Yeah, we actually have tons and tons and tons of programs. So if you're looking for something specific to you, by all means, reach out. We have a guaranteed cash offer. We have a guaranteed sell offer. We have a fix before you list program. We have a buy before you sell program, so that way you don't have to deal with, finding the replacement property. You can make a non-contingent offer on your next home, so that way you're getting a great deal on it. There's just so many programs. We're not your typical run-of-the-mill. They call it the 3 Ps. Put a sign in the yard, put it in the MLS, and then pray that the home sells. We do much more than that. So feel free to reach out and find us at madeformoreliving.com. Thanks for listening.